Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
It's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings, cretins.
I love how the intro guy says Palmer like palm her.
Yeah.
Palmer.
I like how he says it, too. It makes it sound important.
Yeah. Makes it sound kinky.
It's always important to palm her.
Yeah. Speaking of kinky, our fine sponsor, Blickman Engineering.
Yep.
Putting the kink in your brew day. The kinky in your brew day.
Taking the kinks out of your brew day.
Taking the kinks out of your brew day. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I still like innovate your homebrew, but he still doesn't pay me for it, so he can't use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, they.
Well, just next time you see him, he'll hold a beer gun to your head.
Yeah. Here you go.
Try to fill my brains.
Yeah. That's going to take more than a beer gun. It's going to take like 10 of them. As good as that product is, it's like, you need some serious flow to fill that thing.
Well,
one, you have a giant noggin. Two, it's empty.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to hook up the tower of power to it.
Right.
Get some programming in that thing.
Honestly, at this point, I'm not doing a whole lot of other home brewing.
Right.
But I can't wait to see what's going to come out from Blickman Engineering at the next Homebrewers Conference.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that they'll have anything or not, but
probably will.
I'm just like, I got to see it. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm sure you're not the only one either.
Yeah, because just about every year they come out with something that I'm just like, oh wow, it's totally cool.
Yeah,
absolutely unexpected. I didn't know that they would, come up with that, or
hadn't thought of doing that, but
yeah, and it's it's like the greatest inventions in mankind, I think, are always the things where it's unexpected. You wouldn't have thought it. You're like, oh, I didn't, we've had, counter pressure filling of beer for, a long time.
Years, yes.
And it's pretty much been the same thing. And you're like, well, how's somebody going to change it? How's it going to get better? It's going to be, that's the way it's done. And it says fine. And, I don't see any reason to change it. Right?
Right.
And then they come out with a beer gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's a better mousetrap.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Wow. That is really good.
Yeah.
That is better. There is a better way to do it. Oh my God. You've taken something and completely rethought it and reinvented it.
Right.
How very cool.
Yeah. Those counterflow plate chillers. I mean,
how innovative.
It's the kind of things that they do there, and and it's like doing it to a different level, like the Tower of Power. I was talking to John Blickman about the kind of sensors that they use in there, the precision that they're looking for, and the programming and logic of that. You're going to get a far better control over that than you will if you just slap together some Ranco controllers, Johnson controllers, and some on your own
off the shelf thermistor.
Yeah. It's just not going to be anywhere near the same. You're talking, a whole another level of sophistication and quality and control. By doing something like the Tower of Power.
Yeah, from someone that understands, from an engineering point of view, how these things work.
It's a bunch of engineering geeks there.
Yeah. It it makes a big difference in the output, of the accuracy of the output you get from that piece of equipment.
Garbage in, garbage out.
But
that's what Justin's Homebrewing is all about. Yeah. All right. Anyways, check our fine sponsor out, Blickman Engineering, at blickmanengineering.com. Blickman with 2 N's. Send John an email and just say, hey, thanks for sponsoring the show. I appreciate you picking up the tab so I don't have to.
He enjoys reading those, believe me.
He loves it. Yeah. So do us a favor, send him an email. He's a nice guy, and he's. I think he looks at it as maybe a break even at best, but I think he appreciates it. He
really does. He likes
the community aspect of it. So let him know that you appreciate he's part of the community, and send him an email and tell him thanks. All right, so we've been doing our Progasm now for the last 48 shows, and we got another one here. We're going to talk about marketing and
marketing,
sales.
Building your brand, right?
Building your brand, marketing, yeah, absolutely. That's what good marketing, like innovating your homebrew for Blickman Engineering. I think that's brilliant little bit of marketing.
Yeah,
I mean, it really captures the spirit of Blickman Engineering.
Well, I'm a marketing genius.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that.
I would.
But even a blind pig finds a truffle every now and then.
I got your truffle.
Or like AdamandEve.com,
right.
and sticking Jamil on top of that. I mean, that was genius.
Right, absolute genius. It's things like that where, the thing I like about innovating your homebrew for Blickman Engineering is it's not offensive. It's not, telling somebody to go buy something. It's not, insulting their intelligence. It's describing what they do in a nice way that really communicates to the consumer.
Yep.
Here's what we're about. Here's what we do. If you choose to, purchase from us or work with us, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
That's the bottom line, in just a couple of words. I think that's great. And I think, the same thing needs to happen with, craft beer. A lot of times people go, here's the bash on, you hear this all the time. At least I've heard it, multiple times on Stone for Arrogant Bastard. Oh, it's all marketing. Doesn't matter. That's a great beer. It's, no, that's a shitty beer. They just are successful because of their marketing. It's like, well, people are dumb as a post that think that marketing is all that it takes. It's the same thing Anheuser-Busch. Well, they have all that marketing. They spend all that money on the marketing or Coors or whatever. No. Marketing helps, right? Marketing is the way that you get somebody to try your beer and, to experience it and to link with the experience. And the kind of experience they have, marketing is very important on that.
Yeah.
Now, you could make the best beer in the world, and without any sort of marketing, without any sort of way to get people to try that beer and to think about that beer, you're probably going to go out of business.
Right. Because marketing is the distribution of the message. It's not the message itself.
Right. And it's also... and you can have the greatest marketing in the world,
right?
But if the beer isn't
good,
at least good, you're not going to do well,
right?
So you can go ahead and market some stuff and get people to try it and to buy into it. It's going to be very short-lived. It's going to be like, I was kind of keen on that message today. I'm not keen on that message tomorrow. They'll drop it. But if they try your product and it happens to be really good and they enjoy it and they go, wow, that's a really nice experience, then they'll repeat, and that's what you're looking for. So marketing isn't necessarily a bad word or a bad message. I know back in the day, Sierra Nevada I was there, and they told me that they don't do any marketing whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, right. I remember that.
Right. And I guess they don't, but they have their own kind of marketing in a way. I mean, if you go to events, if you have branding. So, sometimes people equate marketing with television commercials.
Right.
Equate marketing with glossy ads and things like that. I heard somebody... Anchorage Brewing, the guy was saying, I was listening to that show today, the Sunday session from last Sunday. He was saying, we haven't spent a penny on advertising.
Right.
It's like, most small craft brewers never do.
Right.
Or they shouldn't.
Can't afford to, really.
Right. It doesn't generate any results, I think. You participate in events.
Yeah.
You develop your logo. You develop, your brand image, things like that. That's the kind of marketing, we're really referring to. Television ads, Super Bowl ads,
right.
Things like that. No.
Yeah. These days, a lot of marketing is social media.
Social media, exactly. I think, engaging your customer is a critical part of it. And if you can properly engage your customer to understand your story, understand what you're about, that's the kind of marketing that is successful, the kind of marketing that sticks, the kind of marketing that gets people interested in your product and understanding your product and your message.
Right.
And that's a big part of tasting the beer. Let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I want to get into a bit more of that and tell a story from my event experience. Yes, from the trenches. Back after this.
Tonight is the night.
We bring the creature to life, Dr. Blickmanstein?
Yes, J.P. Gore. Everything is perfect for my next fermented creation.
But, Doctor, the storm is too far away. We'll never have enough power to isomerize the creature's alpha acids.
Yes, J.P. Gore, we will. For I have in my possession the Tower of Power.
Blickman's new Tower of Power is the evolution of automation. Control hot liquor, sparge, and mash temps like a pro. The Tower of Power is a high-quality gas-fired rim system that works with your current brewing setup. With ultra-precision, the tower can hold your mash to 1/2 of a degree Fahrenheit. Precision and repeatability. The Tower of Power is the answer to automatic, fast ramp times. See more at BlickmanEngineering.com. Bring your next creation to life with the Tower of Power.
Dr. Blickmanstein, with the Tower of Power, you can probably give me an afternoon at the pub to enjoy a pint.
Don't be silly, J.P. Gore. We have beer to brew.
What'd you get? More brewing ingredients?
Yep. You know what I love about Brewmaster's Warehouse?
The $6.99 shipping?
Well, yeah, but...
Oh, the in-store classes for beginning brewers.
Yeah, that's cool, but...
Oh, the Brew Builder. Creating and saving your recipes online is awesome!
No, yes, but...
The cheese-making supplies.
No.
Oh, the wine-making supplies. Oh, the distilling equipment and liquor flavorings.
All that stuff is awesome, yes, but what I really love is that the guy who runs it is totally hot. And that Brew Builder software is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Brewmaster's Warehouse brings you flat rate shipping on great equipment and ingredients to make beer, wine, cheese, and spirits at brewmasterswarehouse.com. And if you're in Georgia, stop by Brewmaster's Warehouse Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Visit brewmasterswarehouse.com today because it's totally hot.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamil Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Relax. Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like pub discounts that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and eZymergy energy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love. And access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your home brewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join right now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association. Have you ever dreamed of taking a beer tour through Belgium or Germany, but weren't sure how to even start? Or were afraid of missing the best places and events? Or maybe you just wish you had a local insider to take you around? Well, there's only one American tour company featured in the Good Beer Guide to Belgium, Belgian Beer Me. Your personal beer tour guide of Belgium and Germany is ready to go at BelgianBeerMe.com and at BambergBeerMe.com. Founder Stu Stewart personally leads 8 tours a year to Belgium and Germany, visiting the finest breweries, beer cafes, abbeys, and festivals, stocking stuffers, birthday presents, and the best honeymoon ever. Couples or individuals love Belgian Beer Me beer tours. Your life is now. Sign up for a beer tour today at Belgian Beer Me or BambergBeerMe.com, because all that beer is not going to drink itself. Like both Belgian Beer Me and Bamberg Beer Me on Facebook to follow current and upcoming tours. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're talking about marketing your
beer.
Brewery, your beer. Yeah.
Building a brand.
Building a brand, yeah. You know, it's important to have, a personality or kind of a feel for your brewery, and it's whatever you choose to do. You know, branding is, before you start your brewery, you should have some idea, and it may morph and change over time, but you should have some idea. This is what I want to do. Right. Here's the message I want to send. Here's why my beer is a valid, entry into the craft beer world. There's a lot of great craft beer out there already.
Right.
What's the story you bring? It's like, well, I have no arms or legs, and and it's it's brewed by mind control. Mm-hmm. That's actually would be really cool. Okay, yeah, I'd like to taste that beer. It's brewed with, there's people with the organic thing, and it's brewed with all. I got a buddy, Blaine, and he does Cali Craft, and his thing was, I want all to be, make a beer with local ingredients, all California ingredients. So he gets California malt and California hops, and he makes this Kolsch. Right. And it's all, California ingredients. And that's kind of, his passion about that. Right. And he feels that, it's an important story and an important message. And I it's like, I'd like to taste that. Sure. Versus, it's a Kolsch made with, some Pilsner malt from Germany, and I use some wheat malt from Canada, and the hops, they come from Oregon. Be like, okay.
Yeah, cool. So tell me why should I like this beer? Yeah.
Right. Now, it could be because, we brew it in an old farmhouse, or we're all, my grandfather was brewmaster at in Cologne, and he told me these stories, and I'm brewing it the same way that he told me he brewed it back in the day.
Right.
Great story. I'd like to taste that.
Right.
And the same thing with this California-based Kolsch. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'd like to taste that. It's a story. It's like, if there's just a bunch of Kolsch's on the shelf, why taste one of the versus the other? But with that story, all of a sudden, I'd like to taste that, right? You see what I'm saying? And it just depends on what that story is, and it shouldn't be a fake story. It should be something you believe in, because I think when you have branding that you believe in, and it's a story that you really have a passion for,
right,
other people will find that passion. They'll find it rings true.
Right.
They'll believe in it. They'll be interested in it. They'll want to try it.
Right.
And then if it turns out to be a really good beer, they'll want to drink more of it. Look, and they'll tell friends, and they go, there's this beer. This guy was, his grandfather brewed in Cologne, and, he really knew Kolsch, and he's passed the wisdom down to this guy, and he does it the same way. And, it's really a great Kolsch. You'll gain customers just from that story.
Right.
It's like, wow, this guy, he's passionate about California. He loves California. He loves, he wanted to make a beer uniquely Californian. Oh, that's this Kolsch. You want to try this Kolsch. And, the story will translate to other people.
Yeah, there's got to be some hook that gets people interested in your brand.
Right. A reason to try it.
Right.
It's not, it's not going to make up for bad beer.
Right.
It's a reason for somebody to try it over trying something else. It's a story that resonates. It's branding, it's colors and logo and things like that. And you got to have something that looks decent. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be some $1 million logo design. We got our logo stuff done from a great guy for $89-$99. He doesn't do it anymore, unfortunately. I'm real pleased with that. It kind of has that edge that we wanted.
Right. And it's what I agree with you. Whatever your message is, you want to make sure you communicate that to your customers and to your distributors, to everybody that you are trying to sell your beer to.
Mm-hmm. Your brand should engage the consumer.
Right.
So you come up with a brand name, a concept, a personality, and then you use that to engage the consumer. It's like, here's our story. Mm-hmm. And like you were saying earlier, social media is a big part of craft beer marketing today. And, if you can't communicate to the consumer what your story is, and that story doesn't resonate with the consumer, I think you're kind of, you're going to have a tough time of it.
Right.
But if you come up with a story that really does resonate with it, and again, it's going to resonate with the consumer if you believe in it, and it's true.
Yeah.
There are and people complain about the macro brewer, they'll come up with a brand name that and a brand concept and push the heck out of that.
Right.
And they can be really good at it, but it's fake sometimes, and people, the craft beer consumer, I think, can be pretty darn smart, and will find those things out, and they'll fail, or they won't really catch on with. And I think that's one of the reasons they have trouble with that, trying to come up with those things on their own, and why they end up buying a lot of craft breweries, because when they make it in a marketing meeting, it's not as true as when some individual person goes about coming up with an idea, and it's something they're passionate about, and the reason why they do this in the first place.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, that's true, and it rings true, and it really, the consumer feels that passion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's back to the growth of the craft beer in the mid-'90s. You'd go into the grocery store, and all of a sudden there were so many more craft beer brands on the shelves, and you'd pick up a 6-pack, and it had a nice looking carton, nice looking labels. But, as a discriminating beer drinker, I'm thinking, why would I try this pale ale over that one? And you look at the carton, and all you see is, very basic, information. Nothing about the brewery, nothing about the beer. Simply says, brewed by Utica, New York, or it's something where it's very generic. There's no reason for me to believe that beer is better than the one next to it.
Right.
Whereas if you pick up a carton that has, hey, we're a small brewery and in Ukiah, and we have we wanted to put together a beer that tasted like this. I mean, all of a sudden now you're engaged, and you're willing to try it. Whether you continue to drink that beer is going to be a matter of how well they succeeded in crafting that beer. But it's definitely important to be able to come up with some story, some echo of your passion that went into that.
And let's go back to the Stone example of Arrogant Bastard.
Yeah.
And people will say, well, that's bullshit. It's marketing, and I hate that beer. And it's like the reason that it does well is, one, you pick that up, you go, wow, what a name, Arrogant Bastard. Yeah, you wouldn't think it would
I'm
be
an
even
arrogant bastard.
legal. And then you read the description, and you're just like, oh, man, these guys sound like they're a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
This sounds like fun. This is a beer produced by folks that are out there. They're edgy. I like that. Okay, I want to try it. You try it. And then you find it's a good beer, and then you drink more. If you don't like the beer, that's fine. Then maybe you think it's all marketing or whatever. But a vast selection of the craft beer community really likes that and goes, that's a great beer, great story. I enjoy it, and there you go.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be just that. Your message to your consumers that you're fun.
Yeah.
Or your message to your consumers that you're ultra serious about great beer. Or your message to your consumer is,
I think a good counterpoint, although in the same light, Sierra Nevada. I mean, we were talking about how they have almost no advertising out there. You occasionally just see a very advertisement in a magazine or something, but it's mainly word of mouth.
Right.
And they were known,
But again, we're talking about the marketing, right?
Yeah.
Or the branding.
Yeah. This was a brand that started 10, 20 years ago, known to have a very solid pale ale.
Right.
Sorry to age you, but it was over 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like a short time
I don't make
for
you
me.
feel like an old man, but
hey, old man.
81, I think is when it was.
Yeah. But I mean, you walk into the grocery store, you see a new a new style from Sierra Nevada. It's good. I mean, there's
well made.
Yeah, it's going to be a very well made beer. There's the
quality's very high.
Yeah,
but
that's part of their brand.
How many people know the stories of? They started all this a long time ago. The quality's high. The the Grateful Dead people touring around. All those stories. That's marketing.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's it's not they're not taking ads out, things like that, but there is marketing. It's being aware of your brand, being aware of what your brand means to the consumer, having an idea of what your vision is. I think it may not be the traditional definition, but I think that's the important that's the crux of what
you've got to have a brand. You've got to have a perception,
an identity.
Yes, exactly. And how you market that is up to you, but you've got to make sure that message is consistent. So however, whether you do it word of mouth like Sierra Nevada tends to do, or you do it by TV or radio advertising, whatever. Or social media. It's got to be something that's consistent, and you've got to make a point of making your message consistent.
Well, and I think consistent, but you can also tweak it over time.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, you need to, you have an idea for it. You come up with it. You start promoting that. And then if you need to, tweak it a little bit over time, our initial Heretic logo had horns and pointed teeth. And then we decided, that's a little too, devil, Satanish, and that's not what we're about. We want to be a little more, we're edgy. We want to be, a little more irreverent and a little more aggressive, but
not ordinary.
It's not about, religion or anything like that. So, let's erase those horns and let's, round off those teeth. And so, the later logos, they're that way. And we're like, okay, now it's sending more of the message we want. I think maybe it was, we had that idea, and then, we rolled this out, and then we thought, and then the perception was a little more, along those lines. We're like, okay, no, that's not the message we're trying to send, so we needed to correct it. I guess our message didn't change. It's just our methods changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, but, you can always do that, and I think if it comes from, organically from within as to what you're passionate about, I think it does well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll get into more of this. I'd like to, cover some of the thoughts on how you engage with the consumer. I think that's what are the methods of communication? How, what pays off, what doesn't, and
that's a good point.
And we'll go from there. All right, back after this.
Nico, listen, our lawyers said that we had to do this for 1 hour, and after this, we don't have to talk to each other for 3 more months to the next meeting.
Kids, come on, let's get out of here.
I'm supposed to have more lines. I'm the professional. Hey, it's Sully.
And I'm Nico.
And we opened the 21st Amendment 9 years ago at 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park, to make great beer and have a great time doing it.
That's right, because to us, the 21st Amendment is more than just the right to make beer. It's the right to experiment, to be innovative, and just do things differently. And so now, we're putting our craft beer in cans.
That's right, cans. You can find our world-famous Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer and Brew Free or Die IPA throughout California and Alaska.
And now it's also available on draft at select accounts in the Bay Area.
So next time you're at your local neighborhood pub or good beer store, be sure to ask for 21st Amendment in cans.
Because everyone likes it in the can.
Tasty crack cans.
Tasty crack can.
Hi, I'm Jamil Zainasheff, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Homebrewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your homebrew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zainasheff. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew. When Michael Fairbrother started moonlighting, he had no idea how quickly his dream was going to grow. Having homebrewed for 15 years, Michael decided to go pro, but not with beer. While attending his homebrew club meetings, he saw ladies knocking their men out of the way to try his mead. Moonlight Meadery is now 2 years old and can produce 200,000 bottles a year. It's the first New Hampshire winery to ever distribute to California and Australia. In fact, you can find Moonlight Meadery meads in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and they ship direct to 17 states. They produce 56 different varieties of mead and are unlike anything you've ever seen on the market. Michael Fairbrother at Moonlight Meadery is a real success story that can make the BN Army proud. Visit Moonlight Meadery in Londonderry, New Hampshire, or online at moonlightmeadery.com.
What does craft beer mean to you? Is it a delicious way to support your town's local brewer? Or perhaps it's the perfect beverage to pair with those delicious meals at your favorite restaurant and at home. Regardless of whether you're thinking of pints or pairings, pilsners or porters, craftbeer.com is the site where craft beer lovers come together to learn and share. Craftbeer.com is brought to you by the Brewers Association and celebrates the best of American craft beer and its brewers. Craftbeer.com is the best place to find craft beer events, recipes, great feature stories, the most up-to-date brewery listings, and resources for your next beer tasting or dinner, like style guidelines, pairing mats, and charts. Get the inside scoop on new beer releases and special events from today's craft beer insiders, and chime in to share your own knowledge, perfect pairings, road trips, recipes, and more. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Are you a hophead? Beer lovers of all stripes will love Brewers Publications' latest release, IPA, Brewing Techniques, Recipes, and the Evolution of India Pale Ale by Mitch Steele.
I wanted to write a book that presented an accurate review of the history of IPA and also provided current technical brewing tips and recipe information. India Pale Ale is a style I love because it has a rich, fascinating history, and today it provides brewers a showcase for all the great new hop varieties that are available. I'm so proud of this book, and I know you'll enjoy all the recipes and thoughts from so many of the world's great IPA brewers.
IPA is available now from Brewers Publications at brewerspublications.com and your favorite homebrew store. Order your copy today and take your hop-forward beers to the next level.
American Homebrewers Association and Brewers Association members receive early notice and special discounts to most Brewers Publication releases. Visit brewerspublications.com to learn more and to find a schedule of author appearances. IPA by Mitch Steele. Get yours today.
7 short minutes off California State Route 101, there lies a secret oasis for all craft beer lovers.
It's Relax, Grillin' and Chillin', bro!
Relax, Grillin' and Chillin' in Hollister, California is a craft beer lover's dream come true.
Not like a creepy JP dream. Like a normal craft beer lover's dream.
30 taps pouring your favorite craft beer. Visit Relax, Grillin' and Chillin' on Facebook to see the most up-to-date beers and what's on the grill.
And let us grill so you can chill.
Angus burgers, filet mignon and ribeye steaks, dogs and sandwiches, and more. Great food, great beer in a place where you can kick back and relax. Tuesdays are brewery nights. Come in to celebrate. And you're not limited to enjoying your favorite brew at the restaurant. Relax, Grillin' and Chillin' has beer to go. Relax, Grillin' and Chillin'. Let them grill so you can chill.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Cut hours off your brewing sessions by using one of our 11 varieties of famous Williams malt extract. Our Williams Belgian Pale Extract is mashed with pure Belgian 2-row malt and a small percentage of Belgian wheat malt for an authentic Belgian character you just can't get from other extracts. Or check out our unique fermenters, 2.5-gallon kegs, paintball tank-based draft beer equipment, bottling aids, and much more. We even have our own line of precision hydrometers. Go to williamsbrewing.com to browse our vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time ship the same day. Brewing is easy. The Williams way.
Back to your hosts, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. Putting the testicles in technical. This is Brew Strong.
So if we're saying we want to get technical on you,
our testicle on you.
Yeah, we want to put our technicals on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're teabagging you with technical information. The show that teabags you with the technical.
Eiffel Towering you to make you a better brewer.
And I'll tell you, if you enjoy that sort of thing, the sponsor you want to go visit and appreciate is adamandeve.com.
King of the Segway.
They've been a great sponsor of ours, and they have an incredible selection, like over 18,000 items. It's adult products. of a huge variety from, clothing to dildos and stuff. And if you use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, they're going to sell you, you choose one item, it's going to be 50% off. That's almost any item, 50% off. You're going to get a free extra sensual gift, so sensual I can't mention on internet radio. I can't quite figure that out, but they're going to give you an extra gift. I think it's so they can change the gift up, They don't have one specific gift. They'll change it up as they
Pez dispenser this month and next month.
Well, you can't get, it's a Viagra dispenser, I think is what it is. You can't get stale in a market like that.
Right.
If your products are exciting, your gifts have to be.
And then, and so they do. Something fun there. You're going to get free shipping, and you get 3 free DVDs that you're choosing. You get to choose from a variety of categories. They're not just going to give you the, the goat on goat, incest, hidden camera stuff.
I've been bad.
That would
bad
be
llama.
Sheep. They would give you. Yeah, have you ever watched the sheep thing from?
Huh? What? You should clarify this.
Oh, there's a sheep video. I've shown it to almost everybody I know.
Well, you don't know me very well, apparently.
Okay.
Shearing one.
The sheep shearing from
Family Guy.
Seth. What's his name?
MacFarlane?
Seth MacFarlane?
No,
yeah.
I don't know.
Sheep shearing. Look it up. Sheep shearing video. Seth MacFarlane.
Okay. Is it going to be funny?
It's absolutely hilarious.
All right, because usually that guy's not very funny.
Oh, I think this is one of the greatest pieces of comedy I've ever seen.
All right.
Anyways, so you can get the 3 DVDs that you're choosing. It can include sheep shearing if you want. Categories like anal, Asian, MILF, point of view, chunky, co-ed.
Rock candy.
Rock candy. Paraplegic, whatever you got. They got it all. So it's a great deal. Again, good sponsor, and they've, they're a decent corporate, citizen, and all that other stuff.
They're green.
Yeah. So, one of the reasons why we're proud to have them as a sponsor, and again, 50% off, free shipping, a bunch of free stuff. Just use that offer code JAMIL at adamandeve.com. They also got a mobile site, m.adameve.com. Check it out. All right, so we're talking about...
Surprised it's not S&M.adamandeve.com.
Yeah. So we're talking about marketing to your consumers, and the easiest way is through social media and communicating, speaking, with your consumer, engaging them. I have a thing. Whenever we make a mistake, I want to post it on Facebook. Anytime we screw something up, I want people to see. Anytime we screw something up, I want to tell people. Everybody's posting when they have some success or some awards or whatever. I want you to see when we screw things up that, this is the way that, craft beer is made. Mistakes happen. I think the value is, when you make that mistake, what do you do with it? You dump it down the drain, or you recover from it, whatever it might be, or is it it's hushed and it's blended in? Hell no. That's not the way to go. I want people to see that when we make a mistake, and everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
What do? We dump it down the drain. What do? We overcome this or overcome that. It's just a normal way of, nobody thinks that anybody, there's nothing that's flawless out there, and how you deal with that and how honest you are about that, I think is an important thing. It's one of our again, like I'm talking, it's our, kind of our key passion is, just being honest with the consumer and telling them what's going on, what we do, why we do it, what we're looking for, what we're trying to do, and when we make mistakes and when we do things right. And when we're happy about something, and when we're sad about something, I just want to, full kimono, just be open to the consumer. Now, JP, you do a lot of social media stuff for the Brewing Network, and it's one of your passions. What's the way that you're, what's our best way of communicating that? Like I said, I want to be open kimono, and I want to, tell them, what's going on. how do I engage that consumer? What's the best outlets? What's cheapest? What's easiest? What do you have to? What's the minimum requirement in order to really do that properly?
Well, Facebook obviously is huge, and no one has to tell you that. And then Twitter as well. The interesting part about Twitter and Facebook is you interact with your fans differently on each. The people, what burns me about social media, and where I look, like you said, I do a lot of social media for the Brewing Network, so I'm on the beer side a lot, more than I care to be sometimes. And a lot of these companies, all these breweries will post, the auto message of, I just posted new pictures on Facebook, on their Twitter profile. It's like, great. That does not engage me at all. I don't care. I don't care enough to go and click on that link. Or when you can link your Facebook and your Twitter, so your next tweet will be half of your profile, half of your status update on Facebook, right. And then the rest is a link to your Facebook page. Well, if I wanted to know that, I would just be a fan of your Facebook page. I want to be engaged on Twitter. Anyway, so you have to know your platform, how to engage people. On the BN, I'll post something, make it lengthy, over 150, 160 characters. Put a link, put a photo. And that's what people look for. On Twitter, they don't necessarily look for that. You have a cap of 140, so you have to be much more creative on Twitter, which is kind of why I like it a little bit more than Facebook, to be honest with you. But that's what you have to do.
What kind of message are you usually talking about to engage the customer?
I mean, it's usually. With us, it's usually shows, when the shows are going to be on, who the guest is going to be for that week, the new merch that's been in stock, but also beer news. I post a decent amount of beer news, and fun stuff that goes on, like the big giant mural of the hop grenade in there that Scott painted. Posted that. I forget what kind of funny thing but I try to be engaging, at least get a laugh out of somebody.
Sure.
And just try to be, because we're fun loving, we're an easygoing company. That's our profile.
Again, it's important to have an idea of what your personality is,
what's your voice,
what your brand is, what you're about.
Yeah, and we're the Brewing Network. There's no doubt. We're not trying to be something we're not.
Right.
We're not
communicate that to people with every post, with every. And you
try.
Something could be serious. Something could be funny.
Yeah, well,
it could be irreverent.
It's never
depends.
Like super serious. It might not be tongue in cheek or funny. Right. But I wouldn't necessarily say serious either. Like, we don't make dick jokes. I don't make dick jokes online, like on Facebook or whatever. Hey, check out my big wiener, and I'm eating a hot dog or something like that. Although that's funny. Let me write that down. You know your voice. You know your target audience, and you just engage them. It takes a little more skill than just typing out a message, but you want to convey information and couch it in some sort of entertaining value, because that's what people are on Facebook for. They are on for fun, and they're on to get information.
Right.
One thing I found real fascinating about Twitter, and so the NFL football, there was the game between Green Bay and Seattle, and there was a call at the end of the game where the call was wrong, and caused all the Green Bay to lose, and everybody was in uproar, and Twitter went nuts with everybody posting about that sort of thing. And what I found interesting was somebody was commenting later on how Mark Cuban, one of the Dallas Mavericks, he commented on that saying, "Gosh, I don't. This is paraphrasing. Can't really remember exactly what was said, but something about how." I can't imagine, what state of mind I'd be in if, that kind of call, affected the Dallas Mavericks, in a game, and they lost a game. The great thing was I read a commentary about that post, or about that Twitter comment, where they're saying, great way in 140 characters to completely own and turn the focus on yourself. Mark Cuban is, in 140 characters is really, instead of talking about, the NFL and the replacement refs, all of a sudden it's about him and the Mavericks and the NBA. He's leveraged
It's a marketer.
something that's really very active and in everybody's mind, and got them thinking about Mark Cuban and the Mavericks and the NBA.
Yeah. He's a marketer.
That's genius. I think, and I'd like to think that he's really just being honest and talking about what he's thinking, but and not, it wasn't a calculated move. It was really more what he was thinking about, but how effective that is. And the very cynical people out there are going to think, well, he's just doing that as marketing, but that is effective marketing. It's talking about how you think and about your product, and how events that are happening affect what you do, and your passion, and how you're passionate about your product, and what would happen, either something actually did happen, or how events in the world would reflect upon your product, or all that, and your passion. So I think that's a great way to leverage those social medias and get that connection to the consumer.
You can be part of any conversation on social media, and that's important. And I don't know the guy from anything, so I think number one, that's probably what he's really thinking. Like, that would suck for me. Number two, he knows that if he joins the conversation, hundreds of thousands of people, I imagine, follow him on Twitter, are going to see it. So why not plug the hell out of what I do at the same time as sympathizing?
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't mean it like that. Maybe he's just like selfish, or maybe he's just talking out loud. But the point is, how it came across is this is marketing. That's never a bad thing.
Right. Well, now
to a certain extent.
Right. And there are a couple of breweries that I believe are very overly marketed. And it drives me nuts. I can't drink their products.
There's some
I don't know. They may be fantastic.
Yeah.
I won't drink them. I hate the fact that I get a dozen emails from them every month touting this product or that event or that. It's just like you're driving me up the wall with their...
Never go on Twitter then.
And it's excessively market speak.
Yeah.
It's so fake and advertising.
We're rolling out to this marketing,
It's advertising.
If you say brand, market, and then roll out, you have a PR person.
I'm just, I can't stand it. Tell me what's really happening at the brewery.
You should see our Twitter feed.
Yeah.
There's some people who they'll post 3 times a day, every day.
I can't stand that crap.
No,
it
makes it
gotta
hard.
imagine that a lot of craft beer lovers are the same way, that they, it's like, look, I want to honestly know what you're doing, what you're involved in, what you're passionate about. If nothing's happening, don't say anything.
Yeah.
If you've got, something good going on, tell me all about it. If you need to post 10 times in a minute, that's fine. If things are rapidly happening, it's like, oh my God, we're doing this, and this happened, and
Well, here's a good example. I got
that's great.
I think went out both on Twitter and Facebook, but a picture of a bag of Citra hops that this brewery had just received, and talking about the beer that they're going to be brewing with them. Hey, our hops have arrived. We're going to be brewing this week.
Yeah.
Look for it in a couple of weeks.
Right. We're excited about it because Citra is kind of limited, and we got this sack. Thank God, we want to brew this beer, and we're excited about how it's going to turn out. And that's that excellent, right? Taste Star, Citra hopped beer because Citra is the
it's a new mango flavored.
Right.
The downside, or not the downside, but the thing you have to understand about Facebook and Twitter is that the flip side. It's all positive, but the statistics have there's numbers that have come out that I kind of keep up to date on. 40% of your followers on Twitter are dead accounts, meaning people haven't logged in over 30 days.
Sure.
So maybe they check every month or every other month, but that's not. They're not going to get your marketing,
my
right?
Twitter account.
Yeah, and then on Facebook, they say that your post really only reached 16% of your followers.
Right.
So when you have
the thing I like about Facebook is when you set up a page, it gives you the statistics of how many people viewed a given page and things like that.
Yes, but that's also because Facebook has now scaled back They've choked down how many people your feed goes out to. So we have almost 12,000 people on Facebook. Sometimes our page will reach 4,000 people, and it's like, well, Facebook is choking that back because they want you to advertise. So they're fine now that they're big and they're super big, and they're losing market share. Well, I don't know if they're losing market share, but people are dropping off. They want a way to bring people and give them money.
Even if you have 12,000 people signed up as friends or likes or whatever, that doesn't mean everybody viewed it. I think they've changed it to because people were complaining that they were inflating the numbers. I think now they're giving more realistic numbers. It's like, well, here's the people who went to the page because you posted this, and they, that was displayed. You still don't know that the person actually looked at it and viewed it and thought about it and all that. Right. But I think it's a more realistic number now because you can have all these followers. That doesn't mean jack shit. It's it's how many people go to the information. And then a subset of that actually viewed it and enjoyed it and thought about it.
For me, the way I look at it is ultimately the numbers don't matter. The people who like you, the people who follow you don't matter. That number does not matter. What matters is direct results into the webpage, direct results into your store, or how many people by demographic, by where they are buying your beer. If your sales are increasing and your market and everything's fine,
you can't directly relate that from social media to.
You have to have fuzzy math in this day and age of digital media.
I think it is valuable.
Let me give you an example.
To have some, I think it is valuable from a brewery point of view. I think it's valuable to have people that view the content. I think that number is important. Or supposedly viewed the content.
Right.
Versus just friends. And then how many people actually responded to it and how many people reposted it somewhere else and how many people watched it there or looked at it there. I think those numbers are valuable because
I would say they're valuable in that order.
You want to get your brand identity out there as much as possible. The more people view it, the better it is.
Of course.
And you can't translate that into alcohol sales. Now, there is an exception because you can't sell alcohol off of Facebook.
Right.
Now, there's an exception to that, and there's companies who do retail, through the web, and you can post when they're having sales because they're outside of California. Or if they're outside your state and they don't sell to your state, you can go ahead and post it. And then you can see how the orders come through on that and see, we post here, the orders go up. All right, so you get some ideas.
I see what you're saying, but and my point is not to rely 100% on your numbers equal this from your social media. It's a part of your marketing. So if you put it under the umbrella of marketing and your sales are going up, that's the only thing that matters. That's the bottom line. You can have... I'll give you two examples real fast, then we got to take a break. Ashton Kutcher. He had these 30 million people follow him on Twitter. Some insane amount. For a long time, he was the dude, right? But his interactions were trash. He was one of the worst because he never interacted with anybody, and no one ever read what he was doing. Most of his followers are dead. So even though he has a lot of followers, he's not reaching anybody. There's a large brewery who I was talking to their marketing team several years ago, and they say they value every person on their email as $5. That's how they account for their ad revenue, or part of their marketing, rather. I'm sorry. Because they feel at some point in this person's life who signed up for our website or for our email list, they will buy one of our beers. It's fuzzy. It's fuzzy math, but that's all you can do.
Right.
The way I look at it also is Disneyland. They don't need marketing. Everyone, if you live in the world, you know what Disneyland is, but they don't really. I think if they dropped their Facebook page and their Twitter account, they would be fine. I'm not saying they don't need marketing, but they don't need social network.
Yeah, they generate a lot. I think a lot of immediate revenue for the special events and things like that. I think they generate a lot of revenue using social media and email marketing and things like that to their
yes
collective.
Some, but if you're not tied into it, already. You know what I mean? Like they have
a different kind of consumer.
30 million people that they reach.
It's a different kind of consumer.
It is a different kind of business, but it's also kind of the same because they don't do direct sales through that.
I'm saying it's a different kind of consumer that they have. They do direct sales through that. It's a different kind of consumer that they have that knows about Disneyland, is going to go there anyways.
Right.
Then there's the consumer like you that signed up for the email and the Princess program and all that stuff, right?
Well, I am a Star member.
And the pass holder.
Yeah.
They know that they can contact those people and sell them an experience and upgraded experiences like, well, pay $100 and come to a special, preview of Cars Land, right? So they actually do derive direct revenue from that.
But that's
kind of
that's very
marketing.
recent. What I'm saying is their day-to-day feed, their general feed, doesn't do anything. It's like this. If you wish you were here instead of at work,
it does do something in that it gets people to think about the brand,
right,
and say to themselves.
But you're missing my point.
I would love to be at Disneyland right now. Work sucks.
Of course.
When can we schedule our next trip to Disneyland?
Yeah, but
for you, that's like every week.
I sort of disagree with that.
And for a brewery, it's when can I have my next Heretic beer? But that was a really good beer. I really did love that.
But Jamil, that's my point.
I could use a beer
now.
now.
That's my point. Is that's what social networking does.
Right.
It doesn't matter the amount of people that follow you. It matters if your sales go up, and if your sales are consistent and they keep rising, then you have social media under the umbrella of general marketing.
Right.
You can't tie specifics into Facebook or Twitter. It's almost, unless you have a web store, then you can Google Analytics and track through that. You have to be general with that kind of stuff. It's more of your brand message than direct marketing.
If you get enough data, and I think events and things like that, you can drive people to events, things like that.
Yes.
I think there's some measurements you can do. I think you can't count on it. I think, like you're saying, it is fuzzy math, but I think the point being, it can be useful. You can drive some revenue from it.
Yes.
It's difficult in alcohol to drive direct sales from it. There's laws against promoting retailers.
Well, and you don't have people who don't have web stores. It's even harder.
Right.
I agree. I mean, we're both saying
we can
similar
sell clothing
things.
and all that crap.
Yeah.
We can't sell beer.
You should put more links up on your thing. All right, let's take a break.
Yeah, I don't know.
You should.
I hate to.
Your pint glasses in our store are selling pretty well.
Yes, of course they are.
Take a break.
All right, let's take a break. After this
break.
By popular vote from the Northwest Brewing News, HopTech has been voted the best homebrew shop in Northern California. Serving homebrewers for nearly 30 years in Dublin, California, HopTech carries more than 40 different kinds of hops and more than 60 different grains. Malt extract, spices and sugars, hop oils and extracts. Open every day except Wednesday, or shop online anytime at hoptech.com or call 1-800-DRY-HOPS, 1-800-379-4677. With in-store classes almost every Saturday, huge selection and a dedicated commitment to their customers, HopTech is one of the longest running and passionate homebrew stores, period. And now, by popular vote, the best homebrew shop in Northern California.
And don't forget their 15% military discount.
HopTech. Visit today at hoptech.com. When Blickman Engineering set out to design a great brewing stand, they knew it had to be strong, adaptable, and last for a lifetime. The top-tier brewing stand is now proudly available at blickmanengineering.com. It grows with your brewing skills and equipment. Start with 5-gallon coolers on its heavy-gauge stainless steel shelves. Then move all the way up to 30-gallon pots on the high-output burner tiers. Speaking of burners, the custom Blickman Engineering top-tier burners are extremely powerful, efficient, and amazingly quiet. They have safety stops to center your pot, and they'll last a lifetime and won't rust. The top-tier brewing stand allows virtually infinite combinations from traditional gravity systems to 2 tiers to completely horizontal. Configure your stand the way you want and have the freedom to change it at any time in the future. Your brewing stand should adapt with you, not force you to learn a new process. Visit BlickmanEngineering.com today to configure your top-tier brewing stand and to find a local Blickman retailer. You'll be surprised with all the flexible features and the competitive price. Start brewing with Blickman from the top tier.
Hey, Jack, what you doing? Playing Warcraft?
No way. It's TBG time, buddy.
TBG?
Get with it. I'm playing that brewery game.
What brewery game?
No, that's the name of the site. Thatbrewerygame.com.
What?
Yeah, check it out, man.
If you've ever brewed beer in your dreams or wish you could mash in right from your desk at work, you can. Kind of. With That Brewery Game. You can brew up a great batch of beer from anywhere virtually. Then you can sell it because in That Brewery Game, it's legal to sell your beer to the public. Create recipes, brew virtually, upgrade your equipment, upload labels, and test market your brand at thatbrewerygame.com.
You still slinging pissed off birds into buildings from your phone? Forget that. Try making beer. Sweet.
Register right now for your free account at thatbrewerygame.com. Brew, drink, play. Thatbrewerygame.com.
All right, BN Army, it's trivia time. What's the only homebrew shop with over 1,000 recipe kits, $4.99 shipping on orders over $100, and is also home of the Wolf shirt? The one and only answer is Austin Homebrew Supply. For over 20 years, they've specialized in creating recipes such as the best-selling Texas Blonde Ale, Apocalypso, Hop Bomb 2.0, and Double Chocolate Stout. And they just recently unveiled their small grain kits that produce 1 gallon of beer. Visit AustinHomebrew.com to browse their extensive catalog of equipment and ingredients. They also have mini clone recipes of your favorite commercial beers. They're the exclusive retailer of Brew Vent Yeast Fuel as well, Yeast Nutrient, and the all-new Bodybuilder. Follow Austin Homebrew Supply on Google Plus to participate in video hangouts on popular brewing topics. So visit AustinHomebrew.com today and make sure you sign up for their weekly email with news and specials. Austin Homebrew Supply, AustinHomebrew.com.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contract, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
In a world where everything has been lost.
What happened to the city? It's in ruins.
Only one man has the ancient knowledge to restore civilization.
I need a drink. Oh no, the liquor store's been ransacked.
You looking for beer, stranger? Boy, all the liquor got drunk up in the first 25 minutes of the apocalypse.
Wait, there's still some bottles over... Oh, no. Those are non-alcoholic beer.
I reckon you better stick to arrowroot tea and a desperate nomadic existence like the rest of us.
People, I'm a home brewer. I know how to make alcohol.
It can't be done.
Come with me if you want the beer. Okay, I'm gonna need some big plastic buckets.
He is the chosen one. The prophecies say that he's gonna get us wasted.
Someone start heating water. And
from the creators of Northern Brewer, the people who brought you $7.99 Brew Saver shipping, massive selection, and superior customer service comes the Homebrewer.
A vial of White Labs yeast is the key to your best beer. When you open a vial of White Labs yeast, you're giving your beer its best chance for a perfect fermentation. In addition to their already incredible variety of yeasts, White Labs is proud to announce WLP 90, San Diego's super yeast, now available year-round. WLP90 is super clean, super fast fermenting with low esters and has a neutral flavor and aroma profile. It's alcohol tolerant and highly flocculent. For more of the latest White Labs news, click over to whitelabs.com, where you can read reviews of yeast, learn in the lab section, and join the customer club. And if you should find yourself in San Diego, White Labs has a brand new training facility for craft brewers and homebrewers alike. Whitelabs.com. Discover yeast, nutrients, enzymes, and more for commercial breweries, homebrewers, and homebrew stores. White Labs. It's all in the vial.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're enjoying a lively conversation here on marketing and social media. It's extended out into the break even, and
yeah, we had to cut ourselves off and come back to the radio.
Yeah, if we didn't have to actually pay bills and things like that, we could have kept rolling. But one of the things that JP pointed out to me, Heretic needs to do a little bit more of the our posts are fewer and farther between, because I wait for these bigger events and things like that on Facebook. And he's like, you can post some of the smaller stuff too. People are curious about that. They want to know a little bit more about what's going on. I'm like, I don't want to post meaningless crap of what's going on. And John, you pointed out that it's not the meaningless crap, but what are you concerned about today? What is that beer didn't attenuate as much as we wanted, or and what was the result of that, and how did that work out? We're concerned about things every day, and how things are going, or an event I went to, and what I thought of that, or all these things, and that stuff can be interesting and things. Yeah. I don't want to overwhelm people with things I'm not passionate about. And that's my thing. I don't want to post anything I don't really care about. If I care about it, then it should be posted. If I don't care about it, then why should anybody else?
Yeah.
And your point is...
if it's something that you're concerned about, something you're passionate about, that allows the reader to get a better understanding of you and a better understanding of your brand.
Right. No, I agree. I think I need to do a little bit more of, like, this is the thing I'm worrying about. This is the thing that I'm losing sleep over and getting a lot more gray hairs. Here's the problem. Here's what I'm trying to solve. This is why it's important to us. And, go from there. And hopefully, as long as, I think the key thing is, as long as it's something you really care about and you're passionate about, then people will be interested. Then people will find it worthwhile. If you're just posting crap to post marketing crap, then who's ever going to care? Nobody. Leave me alone. I hate that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Our last bullet point.
Right, and we got a last bullet point, and then we got some questions in the chat. I think, and I keep repeating this to people, is remember, you're in the business of selling beer. The business of actually making beer does not generate any revenue. It's only when you sell the beer that you generate revenue.
Right.
And that business of selling beer, it's a business of marketing beer. It's a business of, you need to generate those sales. I know it sucks. It'd be great if you could just, brew and a fairy came and picked up the beer and disappeared with it. But you have to have some way of engaging that sales aspect and communicating to people. And the way to sell something to somebody is to communicate with them about what you're doing and what you mean. And then it's up to them whether they want to buy it or not. That's all right. I mean,
give them a reason to care about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell people at these tasting events, I'm like, here, they're like, oh yeah, pour me that. I'm like, I'll pour you a little, taste it, see what you think. Let me tell you about it. If you like it, I'll pour you more. If you don't like it, I can dump it out for you too. That's all right. Not everybody likes every beer. That's okay. Right. I have no problem with people that like, Bud Miller Coors. I really don't.
I've been to the Coors Banquet a lot lately. That's a good beer.
If people like it, then and that's their thing, and they feel that's their best beer, they should enjoy that. Don't worry about it. You don't have to drink my beer. That's okay. But there are people that are passionate about my beer that it resonates with them. Their taste and their great beer is what I consider my great beer, and that's what we're brewing. And that's all I care about. And finding that balance of you're only gonna you have that passionate crowd. That's what you want, and you want to just communicate that passion, I think.
Yep, that's right.
All right, questions from the chat.
Yeah.
Spider Wrangler is back.
We got some. We do, oddly enough.
Damn, buddy, where were you?
Yeah,
missed you early on.
Apparently, he was in the lab or some boring story
So
about
he's in the
spiders.
shitter?
I don't know what it is. He has a good question. He goes, is social media something that brewers go out of their way to find someone that can represent the brand well online, or hand it off to the, quote, pretty techie guy on staff? Which to me means, would you rather keep it in-house or outsource it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, if you get big enough, then it becomes difficult, and I think then you do. I think it's difficult to do well, and I think most people can't do it well. I think, then somebody who, you don't want somebody who's going to just completely own it and they're just going to do it their way and they're going to do some marketing nonsense. You want somebody that is just going to help you understand how to represent yourself and communicate your passion across. And I think that's difficult. And, finding the right person to do that can be tricky. I think, when you're small, you got to do it yourself. You got to, if
the passion has to come through.
Exactly. I was just going to say that very thing. If everything you post on there doesn't communicate what you feel and isn't honest and true, if people are going to read that, they're going to see it. They're going to know that it's full of bullshit. But when you post something and it comes from the heart and it's what you really think, people pick up on that. They're very perceptive. They know when something's bullshit and when something's not.
And on the other hand, I think I know some social media people, and they're very good at what they do. They have made a point of understanding each of these markets and each of these communication tools,
and they know how to sound genuine.
Well, I think they're beer people. They are beer people. They know beer, and they are good at social media. I mean, look at JP. I mean, you get somebody like him with his knowledge of beer that knows how to use these tools.
His freakishly large head.
Somebody that in other words, somebody that can understand your passion,
right,
and is able to effectively communicate that to other people.
Right.
I don't know how effective I am, but I appreciate it, and it is true. You need someone. In my mind, it's like, well, do you hire a PR firm to do it? Obviously, there's going to be more communication between the brand owner and then the PR person,
right?
Because they don't necessarily understand the market.
Right.
Although it's on that PR person to research that market and figure out what's going on. So it's not entirely impossible, but it's a lot easier if you choose somebody within that market that you're striving for, whatever it is.
And I'd say this too, I think especially when you're very first starting out, it's better to do it yourself and be passionate about it and communicate that, unless you're a douchebag, because people also pick up when you're a douche. And then
or just a dork.
And then dork is okay. Dork can be,
endearing.
Can be endearing, yes. Exactly the word I was
looking for. Or if you're a
for.
pretty techie guy.
Right. But, if you're just an asshole and that comes through, then I think you're definitely in need of, somebody, a social media expert to kind of translate what you're doing from asshole-ish to passion
to English.
And I think that can be very valuable to you. Good question, though. As always.
Actually, along those lines, Onamar is back, and he says, how does marketing and branding affect distribution with regards to edgy logos or taglines? And I think that can kind of, you can also put and asshole douchebags.
Right.
Because if you're not in line with everything, then, if you're not marketing to the right people, then you're missing the mark, obviously. But So, how does branding is affected in areas by your so-called edgy logo?
Distribution.
Yeah.
I think he stated it better than you did.
He probably did.
Right.
But,
I think it cuts both
think
ways.
about 8
Right.
things. So,
well,
sorry.
as far as distribution goes, they want to see a lot of times when you go to a distributor, you should have your branding before you go to any distributor.
Yeah.
Have your branding down, have your marketing, have your company persona down. Have, any taglines, things like that, like, innovating your brew day. You have all that down. One of our favorites is, don't drink, be a heretic, don't drink ordinary beer.
Right.
And have a package together that represents you, and you can tell the story. And when you go into that distributor to, have a meeting to ask them to carry your brand, you tell them your story. And if it's a story that they're excited about and they're like, yeah, I could sell that. That's a good story. I want to try your beer. If you go in, you get them excited about trying your beer, then they're like, yeah, I can get somebody else excited about this.
Right.
That's what does it. So you need to have that package together. You need to have, your persona together.
He actually wrote in to clarify. He says, do distributors shy away from possibly offensive logos?
Sure.
Yeah.
If you had like a giant dong, and somebody
you could get it approved,
I would think so. It was one of the concerns with the Heretic logo, and the distributors do ask. They're like, "So what does this mean?" And it's like, well, it's somebody who's passionate about beer. It's like, and I tell them, I say, 90+% of people who drink beer, they drink, the mass market lagers. Nothing wrong with that, but that's the religion there. The heretic, people who drink craft beer, they're heretics. They're out there. They're nuts, because general population says, well, the best beer is, the mass market lagers. And if you're drinking craft beer, then you're kind of out there. You're an oddball.
Yeah.
You're a heretic. You're going against the conventional wisdom that says this is the best beer. So once they hear that, they're like, okay, that's a message I can get behind. It's not you hate religion or something.
Right.
It's like no. It's got nothing to do with that. It's like beer is a religion for us, but it's more about great, passionate, flavorful beer and edgy beers and out there beers and different beer, and we just don't want to drink the beer that everybody else is drinking, right. And that they can appreciate. So I think if you're edgy logo and all that, somebody sticking it to a pig,
which is I'm sure is your label approval discard pile,
right?
Yeah.
If you have a reason why. It represents you and the company and it's like, well, it's nasty dirty and our brewery is nasty dirty. It'd be like, But, if you have a reason why, you have a passion, I think it does well. And then people are like, okay, yeah, I can buy into that story.
Last question from Slider79. Which sounds like a category in Adam and Eve. But so how did Jay-Z come up with the label for heretic, and how much money...
Heretic, you bastard.
I'm being a heretic by pronouncing it...
Heretic,
and how much money gets spent on labeling and design?
Oh, interesting. I got very lucky. I think you could spend a fortune. You could spend thousands on getting logo and stuff like that. I... found a guy to do the initial art for $89 or $99. He lived in the Midwest, and it was like online logo development. And I looked at there's companies 5,000, 1,000, 500, and this guy was like $89 or $99. I'm like, I'll try that guy, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just throw it away, and I'll just get one of the more expensive companies. And he was fantastic. He gave us all these hand-drawn 12 different looks based on the input we gave him, and then he developed 2 of them for us, and it was just really special. And I thought he did a fantastic job. And from that, then I worked for a company called Adobe. And
never heard of them.
So I've always farted around with that software, and I think I asked Push to come up with a label, and he came up with something, and I didn't quite like that, and so I came up with a version of that, and I just needed it done, so I did it late one night. I think it turned out really good, and I just have my own sense of what I think looks good, and our labels work really well in the retail, and I think that's very important for a brand. And I'm real pleased with it. And it's a combination of people. And I think, you want to surround yourself with creative, people that, they're aware of the world in which they're in.
Yep.
And that they have a passion for the things that they consume and that they see and they experience. And those people are your key. The average schlub that just goes along and sucks down whatever. But the people who are passionate, JP like you and Push and everybody in the Brewing Network, John, those are people who can, you show them something and they can tell you it does work or doesn't work, or you can get ideas from them, and you do that, and I think you can pull it together yourself. So with the original logo work, I was able to pull that together. So I do all the labels. And again, I can do all the detail work and make it look really good. I need the initial creative idea that helps, and that's Push. He'll do like an initial take on something, and then I'll be like, yeah, I like that, and then I'll mess with it and kind of do the final details, and then I'm like, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
Then we'll go. So that's how it's done.
That's it.
Good questions.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Awesome show.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. And again, if you have questions about going pro, send them all in. Don't worry about filtering. Just send them to Brew Strong at thebrewingnetwork.com or Jamil at thebrewingnetwork.com, and just label it with show for the Progasm, and we'll be sure to get those in the Q&A segments that are coming up. Not too long in the future. We're going to do some words of advice, and we'll do some Q&A, and then we'll do as many Q&A as it takes to answer every question you have about going.
There were a few in the chat
successful
that we just couldn't get to. Okay. So to those people, I apologize. But yeah, do what Jamil said.
Email them, and we will get to them. I guarantee it. We want you to be successful at opening your own brewery if you can. Check out our great sponsors, BlickmanEngineering.com. Blickman with 2 N's. Those guys deserve your support. They've supported you, and they're a good part of the community, so you give them your love. At least send a good email to John Blickman telling them how much you appreciate their support. Check out the Brewing Network store, thebrewingnetwork.com/store. We've got books. We've got the new IPA book by Mitch Steele. Fantastic book. Nice, thick, chubby book full of great information. Get that book. Devour it. It's going to be a great read. You're going to enjoy it. And the profits from that go to the Brewing Network, which is that's the way you support this show. Do that sort of thing. Check it out. The store has shirts and glassware, hats, new hats, and stuff like that. Very cool. And again, it all goes to support the Brewing Network. So go spend some money today. Till then, brew strong.
Brew strong, everybody.